So, Shant, congratulations for the new launch. And in today's talk, I think let's talk about how is it going to benefit our customer audience and how Gene Fertiletics is redefining the whole process of microbiome analysis. Particularly, we will also talk about oral microbiome. So let's go for it.
Sure. So, thank you, sir. This is something which is really important from the human health perspective because, we generally do not give too much weightage to our oral health, to our dental health, right? And it's generally restricted to, getting rid of cavities and to decay and getting your, going to a dentist and getting your this cavities done, right? But what
Right.
we do not understand is, right, there are you know mouth is the second largest home for the microbes after gut, right? So it has more than 100 billion microbes, and right, and these have a lot of say in our overall health, right? And
Correct.
you know, so it's out of 10 chronic diseases, oral microbiome actually plays a role in development of 6 chronic diseases at least, right? There's a huge role of
Correct.
microbiome in our disease spectrum, right? Uh, Besides, this is very interesting. So 45% of the microbes actually oral and gut share. So there's an overlapping of 45%, right? So there are a lot of microbes which are there in mouth, can be found in the gut, right? Obviously, we swallow 1 liter of saliva every day, and through the saliva, a lot of these bacteria move, right? Uh, some basics, like we have a gut lining, we have a mucosal lining inside the mouth, right? And so these
So,
bacteria,
Sushant,
yeah.
This is a little surprising, only 45% because I thought, both the cavities are connected. So probably 60, 70% or maybe more, but you're
No,
saying 45%. So which is like,
yeah, so 45% are the bacteria which overlap. So you may, so if you are, for instance, if you're finding Physiobacterium nucleatum in your gut, it is actually an oral microbiome, right? Similarly, P. gingivalis is, it's an oral microbiome, right? Streptococcus mealy. So what I've seen is a lot of our customers who go through the gut microbiome testing, we find these microbes in their gut, right? Like Streptococcus mutans, P. gingivalis, Physiobacterium nucleatum, right? These are, so there's a lot of this, so overlapping of 45% again. It is more so because some of these bacteria are involved in development of cancer and development of IBD, right? And
yeah.
so there are two vital functions, So remember when our parents used to tell us, chew your food, right? So it was very
Hmm.
scientific. When we chew our foods, we make sure that the nutrients in the food are made available in the small intestine, right?
Really? Yeah.
Right. And second thing is, there's pre-digest. When they pre-digest the food, they actually release certain metabolites. These metabolites actually, communicate with our gut microbiome with various body organs, right?
Correct.
So essentially, the secondary metabolites produced by oral microbiome has a lot to say, right? Uh, so we'll discuss a few things here, right? So one is, first I want to discuss about bad breath, right? And we generally assume that okay, we have a bad breath, like stop eating onion,
Hmm.
stop eating garlic, right? But what we do not understand that a lot of these when we eat food, right? So there are certain leftovers in the food, and these oral microbes actually convert that leftovers into things like uh, you know, sulfides and methionine and, polyamines like glutathione, cadovine, spudamine, right? And these
Yeah.
are actually causes bad breath, what we call as halitosis, right? And
Right.
again, these are sort of pro-inflammatory molecules. This changes the entire ecosystem. It also increase the risk for periodontal disease and gingivitis, right? So essentially, it is not always, garlic. It can be tofu, it can be shellfish, it can be acidic foods, which could cause, halitosis, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so that is something we really need to understand. That is the first basic thing when we talk of oral microbiome. Again, when we are talking of oral microbiome, is we are talking of the functions of the microbiome. We're talking of the microbial gene expression, the gene expression of the
Absolutely.
microbiome, not the existence of the microbiome, right? So that is something very, very important we need to understand, right? Second thing is, right, I want to touch base upon, I think, sir, we have discussed this, but I really want to touch base here that there are certain hygienes which we need to consider, right?
Absolutely.
For instance, the toothpaste, the mouthwash. Let's talk about mouthwash, right?
Yeah.
So we have seen a lot of these mouthwash. They actually do an ad that we will kill 99% of the germs,
And
right?
which we don't want. Yeah.
Right. So thing is, mouthwash do the same thing inside your mouth what antibiotics does in your gut, right?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wipes off a lot of oral microbes, and it is said that if you're using mouthwash, right, your blood pressure increases a lot within 2 to 3 days, right? So
Oh. So nobody
yeah,
knows that. Wow. Okay.
yeah. So it's not always about cholesterol or having salt and so
Uh,
again, tooth scrapping, what we do is mouth scrapping. What we do is mouth scrapping actually regulates our blood pressure level, right? So, certain, uh, so let's talk about certain metabolites like nitric oxide, right? Again, nitric oxide is considered to be a prebiotic for your oral microbiome,
Correct.
right? So nitric oxide, what it does, we know that NO is something, which is in byproduct of nitrate. So a lot of these foods which are high in green vegetables like beets, like spinach, like parsley, all these are high in nitrate, and the certain oral microbes, the beneficial one, right, converts this nitrate into nitric oxide. This nitric oxide actually relaxes your blood pressure, blood vessels, right, improve your
Correct.
blood flow. So nitric oxide is something which regulates your blood pressure level, will reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease, which improves your insulin sensitivity, right? Which also, so this is very, very interesting. It increases your blood flow to your sexual organs. So
Yeah.
especially males who have erectile dysfunction, right? Actually, nitric oxide can, if your oral microbiome is right fixed, it can actually improve your issue of erectile dysfunction. That's why, people who have, there's a research which has found that people who have periodontitis, right, also have a risk of erectile dysfunction, right? People who have type 2 diabetes have a risk of erectile dysfunction, right? So, nitric oxide plays a very, very major role in this, right? And the important part is, right, our body produces uh, nitric oxide every 1/4 of a second, and the point is after the age of 40, right? So it stops producing, and that's why the oral microbiome role becomes all the more important, right? So we
Okay.
really need to have nitric oxide. This is one of the most beneficial thing produced by the oral microbiome, right?
Okay.
So in this way, oral
That is very
microbiome
useful information. Very useful information.
so this way, oral microbiome health impacts your sexual health, impacts your blood pressure, impacts your metabolic health, impacts your, you know,
Correct.
the risk of reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes, right? Which we generally do not think over, right? We generally do not think that
Yeah.
something in the mouth can actually cause type 2 diabetes. So mouthwashes are completely, no, it's completely poison, right? We need to focus on
Right.
improving our nitric oxide, right? And another thing, this is really, really funny, So Viagra, right? A lot of who have an
Yeah.
erectile issue, take Viagra. Viagra improve your nitric oxide production. Viagra improves your blood flow to your sexual organ, and that's how we generally recommend Viagra for people who have erectile dysfunction because it improves your blood flow and it actually improves your nitric oxide. So I'm not saying take Viagra, but I'm just sharing an insights about it, right? So
Yeah.
right? So essentially, like gut, there is an immune system in our mouth, right? And so we have these bacteria like P. gingivalis, the Streptococcus mutans, which are actually pathogenic ones, right? They live in our mouth, right? And it is not necessarily they are
Right.
doing bad things, right? So it's not always they do bad things, right? Right. So it's when we are, uh
Correct.
using too much of mouthwashes, having toothpaste. So I'll just press upon it. So we've discussed about the toothpaste, right? So toothpaste, a lot of toothpaste have SLS, sodium lauryl
Lauryl
sulfate,
sulfate.
right? Which is, since you come from this field, this is a chemical. This is used in manufacturing facilities, right?
Yeah.
It can actually, what we do not do, it breaks the lipid layer in the cells, right?
Yeah. It's a
So,
detergent basically. SLS and SDS both,
yeah,
sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium dodecyl sulfate, both are
yeah,
detergents.
yeah. So it is an endocrine disruptor. It can lead to hormonal imbalances. Similarly,
Exactly.
triclosan impacts your gut diversity, right?
Yeah.
Aspartame, saccharines are artificial sweeteners. They can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes and obesity, right? Paraben again is an endocrine disruptor, right? Uh, so these actually disrupt your microbiome. These are few things. Other things, obviously, when we take too much of sugar or we're taking acidic things, right? So our mouth pH level we have to maintain, right? And
Right.
if it's too much acidic, it gives an opportunity for P. gingivalis and Streptococcus to grow. When they grow, they start doing pathogenic activities. They start releasing harmful chemicals, right? So I'll share a bit about this, how these bacteria causes Alzheimer's, right? We'll talk about that as well, right? So when we are taking too much of sugar, right? Candies, we speak a lot if like you and we do, right? Uh, if we are, our mouth is generally open. We open our mouth during exercise. Also, a lot of these. I'm telling you, a few things which we never think of, right? So
Think
so
of,
all
yeah,
these
yeah.
things, actually increases your acidic level inside your mouth. It gives an opportunity for gingivalis, streptococcus, and a lot of these harmful things to grow, right? And
Right.
and when they grow, right, what happens is they start releasing harmful metabolites like we happen in the gut, right? Like LPS
Yeah.
and all these TMAO and a lot of these bad things, right? And all these odorous compounds we discussed about sulfide and putstrine and polyamides and methane and all this, right? So it actually gives a message to our immune system that something is wrong, and immune system attacks, right, to kill those harmful things,
Yeah.
right? Right. So what happens is sometimes this is too much of an attack, too much of biological warfare inside the mouth, and it actually start attacking the gums, and we have leaky gums, we have these so gums, right? It's actually immune
Yeah.
response, right? And when this happens, leaky gum, so it like a leaky gut, it allows the bacteria to move. So the P. gingivalis can directly move out of the mouth to places like brain, heart, right, pancreas, everywhere, right, directly. So then they go to brain, they can do inflammation there, they can impact, disrupt how the insulin works inside the brain. We know brain is an insulin sensitive organ, right? It impacts the beat. So not directly, but indirectly, they produce LPS, which directly leads to accumulation of beta amyloid, which is or how it creates an issue with the tau protein. We know all these, right? So people who follow Alzheimer's, these are certain
Yeah.
certain aspects to be considered, which impacts our development of onset and development of Alzheimer's, right? Beta amyloid accumulation. We know that it causes that, right? So there are certain byproducts released by these batful bacteria which increase the risk of Alzheimer's, right? Similarly, reduced nitric oxide increase the risk of blood pressure, cardiovascular disease. LPS is something which causes heart disease, right? Released by oral LPS
Absolutely.
enzyme, right? So,
Yeah.
so you know, so there's this is something oral microbial dysbiosis, which again works in a similar fashion how the gut microbial dysbiosis happens. So they triggers the overactive immune response, release of cytokines, right? And either they directly move to a different place where they do not belong. So very, weak immune defense because they've never seen such things coming, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it causes blood-brain barrier and causes inflammation in the brain, or they also causes
Right.
placenta barrier. So in females who are expectant mothers, that's why they either have preterm births or low weight births, right?
Yeah.
So this,
Yeah.
so again, bacteria in the mouth can cause preterm births, can cause these issues, right?
Right.
So, so I spoken about the periodontal disease, how it impacts the metabolic health, the sexual health, the the uh, the brain health, right? So we have
Yeah. Yeah.
the heart health, right? So
So these are
these
some of the very important points, which everyone should know. And I would be also very keen to understand then, what are we doing to address this whole issue, which is
hmm,
actually a cascade. So many things are connected with the oral microbiome and,
yeah.
all the metabolite production just we spoke about.
Hmm. So I'll share probably I would like to share one more thing, which is two things which are really important before we get into what solution, what we offer, right? One is
Yeah.
the biofilm formation, right? So
Hmm.
we generally, if we go to a dentist, right, most of them
Hmm.
focus on removing this biofilm, which is
Hmm.
wrong, right?
Hmm.
So biofilm is a protective mechanism, right?
Right.
Biofilms is like a home, is like a cave for a lot of
Hmm.
bacteria, both commensal and good, and even P. gingivalis. A lot of these bacteria to stay there, right, and perform various
Right.
beneficial functions. For instance, the certain minerals which our teeth requires, like magnesium, phosphorus, boron, calcium, right? All
Yeah.
these are in saliva, and they actually this biofilm is permeable. So these actually minerals goes through biofilm and biofilm through iron. So these are all ionized. So biofilm attracts them, and it actually reduces the cavities. It
Cavities. Yeah.
actually, yeah, it actually remineralize the teeth, right? So we don't have to remove biofilm. We have to
Hmm.
disrupt it, right? We have to make sure that it nourish the microbiome. So if it's too thick,
Hmm.
or if it's there's a lot of growth of P. gingivalis, then it can do problems, right? So we really need to fix that, right? Again, we'll tell you how gene frequency fix that through nutrition, right?
Hmm.
So again, biofilm is not bad, right? Something we should consider. It is about again balance. We need to have it is a protective mechanism. We need to disrupt it, right? We don't need to
Right.
remove it, right? We need to see the growth of certain pathogens, right? Uh, Another thing I want to discuss is, fluoride.
Fluoride in
Yeah,
toothpaste. Yeah.
yeah, in toothpaste, and this is found in almost 100% toothpaste, right? I'll say
Hmm.
99%, 1% are focused, are paraben free, are saccharin free, are SLS free, right? These are good toothpaste. Like Red Seal, we are using these Red Seal. So again, fluoride, we know that if you Google it, right? Let me share
Hmm.
this, I'll share one screen.
Yeah.
So if you
Sure.
see, this is what we have is the fluoride alert organization, fluoride action network,
Fluoride.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this I'm talking about the Indian page right now, right?
Hmm.
So here, if you see, fluoride is not a nutrient, right? It's an anti-nutrient.
Hmm.
It is found
Hmm.
in water, in groundwater, especially if you see in Punjab, Haryana, there's a lot of fluoride in the groundwater, which is impacting the dental health and skeletal health, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, in toothpaste, the fluoride, the amount of fluoride which is coming is exceeding the maximum permissible allowed, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
excess fluoride, fluoridasis, or what we call is excess fluoride exposure can lead to oxidative stress, can lead to production of reactive oxidative species, right? It can
Correct.
impact the learning. It can lead to learning impairment in children, right? It can impact cognitive function. It can impact the neurodegenerative function, especially not in the newly born or the children or even in the fetus of the mother, right? Even when the child is not born.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So fluoride is
Yeah.
something which is, if you see it is found everywhere, right? You see the statement here, it's poison, not water that comes out of hand pumps and in Uttar
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Pradesh, right? So
Correct.
fluoride is found in water. We and lot of 97% Western Europe has rejected water fluoridization, right? So,
Correct.
right. So fluoride is something we should not consider, right? Yeah, obviously there's something hacks like hydroxyapatite, which is something found which can be beneficial, right? So it's not only so, we just to sum up, high acidic food, high sugary stuff, right? Foods which are making your microbiome release, bad breath, right?
Breath, yeah.
Right. Dry mouth, using a lot of these mouthwashes, right? Toothpaste, which are having all these artificial things, SLS, saccharins, aspartame, and all that, right? The fluoride content, right? All these disrupt the oral microbiome.
Correct.
So to sum up, oral microbiome, we have to leave them alone, right? We don't have to interfere their functions, right? We have to just feed them with the right nutrients. We don't have to expose them to wrong environment, right? So these are few things. Now coming on to what we do, right, at Gene Fit
What we
Genetics,
do, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So again, like our gut microbiome solution, vaginal microbiome solution, we focus on the functions of the oral microbiome. We focus on the gene expression of the microbiome. So we look at, what these microbes inside the mouth are doing, what they are producing, right? We look at metabolites. So we look at, uh, sulfite production. We look at, the methane production, the bitrate production, the nitric oxide production, the biofilm formation, the mucin degradation pathways, right? The LPS production pathways, the TMA production pathways, right? There are 17 such pathways we look at, right? And these pathways, again, we have developed the machine learning model for this, right? And these pathways actually, drives our nutrition and supplement recommendations, right? So we can tell you what food you should eat. So suppose if your nitric oxide is low, probably we'll recommend a lot of foods which are high in nitrate, like uh, like this greens and beet greens and beetroot and these spinach, a lot of these, even watermelon are high in nitrate, right? Or if there's a lot of biofilm formation or bad breath, and then there are a lot of polyphenols and antioxidants we recommend, right? Right,
Yeah.
herbs specifically, which is one of its kind, herbs. We do herbs like green tea, like like thyme, rosemary, a lot of these based on the amount, and the recommendation category all depends upon the activities of your microbiome, oral microbiome, right? So
Yeah.
we give you your entire oral microbiome analysis, how it impacts your systemic inflammation, how it impacts your heart health, brain health, sexual health, your autoimmune health, your metabolic health, right? Your reproductive health for females, right? So,
Wow. Excellent. Yeah.
right. Then, based on your pathway analysis, we tell you what you should eat, in what quantity, why you should eat, what you should avoid, what you should minimize to regulate all these, to promote, optimal biological functions by this microbiome. We give hygiene recommendations, right? So
Yeah.
in terms of
Yeah.
what kind of toothpaste, what you should look at toothpaste, why you should not look at mouthwash, what other ingredients you should consider, right? So third thing, and the most important, we also are doing a report for your dentist, for your healthcare practitioner, right? Which give detailed insights about your oral microbiome, so that he can bring more precision. For instance, if you have cavities, you always don't have to go for this tooth decay process or a surgery process. It's sometimes you have to mix this with the nutrition intervention, with food as medicine, to actually or how can you disrupt the biofilm formation, right? Which is actually which may be removed by the doctor, but again we need the biofilm, right? Without that, there's a lot of food sensitivity, cold sensitivity inside the mouth, right? The touch sensitivity, right? So it is required
Right.
for remineralization of our teeth, right? Our teeth need
Correct.
calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, boron, right? All these passes through your biofilm, right? So it's not that biofilm we have to destroy, right? So these are the things we should consider. So again, our product is, we've already started dispatching the kits, right? It will take, we take your saliva swab. You can get the kit at your home. You can take your saliva. We can get it picked, right? We take 4 weeks to give you the entire analysis recommendation report and hygiene recommendations, right? So that is how it works, right? So it's a 6 month subscription. We'll give 3 different set of recommendations, right?
Okay.
Again, by tracking your current state of your dental health, right? It will be changed. It will be all data driven. There is no nutritionist here. There is no dentist here, right? It's all data driven, right? And again, you follow these recommendations. Then after 6 months, you may choose to go for a retest, see how your scores is doing, right? So again, the price right now is we running a huge discount. The MRP is 35,000. We are already running a 10,000 rupees discount, 25,000. Again, we are giving
Okay.
for first 20 kits, we are giving an additional 10% discount. So it will cost you 22,500 bucks for the 6 months subscription for the first 20 customers, right? So that's how it will go. And for people who wants to go both gut and oral microbiome, so they can also add the gut microbiome to this by paying another 10,500 bucks extra. So for gut and oral, you can
Correct.
easily, in 33,000, you can easily get both gut and oral microbiome, right? So
No, I
that's
think fabulous work, and the way you explained, how is it useful and how gene fertilitics can help people to address this very important thing. Uh, and I also know that, our volumes are increasing, hundreds of customers are trying to, get these things done in next coming weeks. So I would say all the very best, Sushant. Let's keep doing this fabulous work. Let's keep
yeah.
spreading the science, let's keep spreading about gene functionality rather than looking at only DNA or genes, as you keep saying correctly.
Yeah.
Uh, very useful. Any important point you feel we have left? After that, we can kind of wrap up.
I want to add 2 more things here. First thing is, so we can also, from this perspective, we are also willing to work with dentists, right? So dentists who are willing to offer this to their existing customers, right? We're happy to collaborate. We're happy to work on this, right? We can customize the report as per their requirement as well, right?
Right.
That is one thing. Second thing, from all the customers, I've seen this, for last couple of months, I've seen a lot of customers coming, too much focused on, what we call as supplements, and we discussed, I think, in the last discussion, right? So,
Yeah.
my only thing is, do not fall for supplements. There are a lot of companies who are selling supplements, just on the name of the microbiome, microbiome is not about supplements, right? It is about
Correct.
understanding your biology, understanding how your body functions, where it is
Absolutely.
wrong, why it is wrong, right? So do not fall for supplements, right? This is really important, right? So
Yeah.
that is what I wanted to share, right? And in case anyone wants to go for the oral microbiome solution, please reach out to us on our website, right? There is a customer care number. You can also email us, right? The email details and the phone number are given on the website, right? I will also share in the description, right? So you can reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you.
Sure. That was a wonderful talk we had this morning, and looking forward to such more discussions, Sushant.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.